What's up, y'all? It's been 10 months since the last video. My first video. Um and I didn't think I was gonna make another video. Like after I recorded and posted that, I was like, that's stupid. Nobody's gonna watch this. But there were a lot of people who liked it. And there's a lot of cool discussion in the comments, and I think it might even help a few people, which is, really awesome. So I'm back 10 months later, new haircut. New college, technically a new state. A lot has changed. I feel like I'm a very different person since my last video. And so I rewatched it today. Um, and I, I still agree. Same shitty old car. I still agree with what I said before, about how getting older, you have to start choosing yourself first, and you then have to walk that very thin line of prioritizing your needs while also still, being a good person and helping the people in your daily life. Because it's not an easy, always help somebody, always help myself. That's simplifying it, but you know what I mean. Like it's a hard thing to do. And there's a burnout that comes with that. And it's scary. But I think I have kind of shifted from, being nervous about how I treat other people, and the way I should put myself first. I've grown a lot in that area since that video. But now, as I put myself first a lot more, and I think as a lot of people who put themselves first, like this kind of new stage of growth, you hit a point where the growth you're doing doesn't seem acceptable. And maybe that's like a, type A personality or something like that. But I think that once you really start to invest into yourself correctly, while also still maintaining the people around you, you get to a point where no matter how much you invest, it's not enough. And you start to get really down on yourself no matter what. And I think especially for people like me and other people who have mental illnesses, and other aspects of their childhood, nature and nurture just both coming in to make growth really hard, and really hard to be retrospective about it and see what you've done, and be proud of what you've done, and also be hopeful for the future. Just a little background, I'm currently pre-med in college, got a lot of schoolwork, involved in clubs, still trying to maintain staying fit with hanging out with people. And there's a lot of days where I look at what I'm doing and I look at what I've done, and I'm just not happy and not proud, and I feel like I could always do more. And that might be a side effect of being in a competitive field. But I think a lot of people struggle with this feeling of, their accomplishments are never adequate enough for the type of person they've built themselves up to be in their head. I think like me, especially, and a lot of people, you build yourself up so high, you try and be confident, you make this image of yourself, your dream self. And, I think, it is achievable. I think some aspects of it are, but, you're not, to quote Nietzsche, if I'm saying that right, I'm getting into philosophy, if you couldn't tell. You can't be the Ubermensch, okay? You can't be this all-around perfect person, and that's a hard pill to swallow. And, it seems really easy. Of course, you're human. You can't do everything, but you actually climb that wall, and you realize you can't, that top, that peak you've set for yourself is unreachable. And not because you're too lazy or you're not smart enough or this or that. It's, you're a person. You know what I mean? You have to sacrifice to even get to the point you are now. But to get to that peak, to get to that one level you want, are the sacrifices worth it? And I think that's the question that really you know, puts it kind of in perspective. If that makes sense. Like, you know, of course, not everybody could be the next Kobe, or, you know, not everybody could get a Nobel Prize. But I think a lot of people's potential, at least, you know, is around something somewhat similar. Like, not best in the world, but competitive for best in the world. You know what I mean? Like, you're throwing your hat in paper. You're trying, and you're putting, if you put 100% effort into that one thing, you know, you feel passionate about, you feel good at, there's a possibility you could be one of the best. You know what I mean? Not the best. I don't think everybody has the potential to be the best at something, but you could become very strong in that aspect of your life. And you know, when it comes to self-growth, I think a lot of us set goals, especially younger. I've noticed this has kind of mellowed out, or I look at, you know, people older than me, they don't have the ambition of like a younger person. And I think that's that harsh reality setting in of like, sorry, a rabbit just ran across the parking lot. That harsh reality sets in where it's, this isn't worth it. You know what I mean? And so, you know, currently where I am, and I know a lot of the people I know, you know, we're grinding. We're trying so hard. And with that comes burnout, like bad burnout, because that's a sacrifice, you know what I mean? And that's just to get to like the first level. The medicine track is crazy. But to even get through undergrad and to like just all the aspiring undergrads and, you know, people outside of college just grinding and working just to get to that first level of, you know, becoming in the in group to get to like one of the best, is you have to sacrifice so much. You know what I mean? And at times it's kind of like debilitating. I feel like I feel like at sometimes there's not, you know, you can't choose yourself and your goal, if that makes sense. In the pursuit of self-growth, you have to kind of break yourself down a little to achieve some of these really like competitive and hard to get goals. And I think when I made that video last year, I was really struggling with that, but I didn't know how to put it into words because I was starting to choose myself. But at the same time, I was starting to get into this world where like, it's just so hard to succeed, choose yourself, and stay healthy. You know what I mean? The more you achieve in your life, the more you have to sacrifice, the more you have to give up. And, you know, as you're growing, you don't know what to give up, you know? And like that kind of ties into what I was talking about before. The more you grow and choose yourself, you kind of got to give up other people. You got to give up their needs and wants to pursue your own. And then it starts turning into, well, you know, what about myself do I need to let go a little so I can then achieve this super hard thing that, you know, I can't, that feels so hard to achieve right now. And, you know, I'm still thinking through it. But, you know, today I was really struggling to stay motivated for a while. That burnout was hitting. That feeling of, is it even worth it, was really coming at me. And, you know, I don't know if it's going to be worth it. I don't know if the sacrifices I make, or the sacrifice I even want to make, if this is the path I want to take. And I don't think anybody at my age or our age or your age, you know, at any age, knows if it will be worth it. Unless you're like super, super passionate about something, which I don't think happens often. But I think what I'm trying to say is, even though it's so scary to grow, it's so scary to pursue something so strongly, so with so much like vigor, and passion, that you gotta let go of some things that are kind of near and dear to you, that it's okay, you know. I think we kind of drown ourselves in the ideas of success and immediacy. Like, we kind of live in a world where like things happen now, and things always go right. You know, I'm not gonna be the type of guy that blames social media, but like you can't lie. Like, it gives a warped perception of reality. And so you just see people like, I mean, you see people fucking up, but you see people succeeding, and growth isn't immediate success. You know, very few times can you get in this flow state where you just succeed. You know what I mean? And so sometimes to grow and to achieve those hard goals, you got to just take time away from it and come back, and then take time away from it and come, you know, it's you're growing at the same time your resume or portfolio is too. And you can't do it all sometimes. And it's hard to decide, you know, in this like period of my life, am I really going to dedicate myself to this goal and potentially lose parts of myself? Or am I really going to take care of myself and potentially lose progress on this goal? But I think it doesn't have to be black and white. Like, I know I just said, you know, you got to sacrifice and give up things, but I think you can take things slowly. You know, and that's a privilege I have in my position. I don't need to be immediately successful. I have the support and the family and the financials really to not have to immediately success. I can't bum around and waste my time, but rent is due, but it's not necessarily due, if that makes sense. And so that's a privilege I have. But I think at the same time, you know, even if that privilege isn't available to you, it's still okay to just coast for a bit instead of like chasing that goal day in, day out. It takes a very special type of personality, I think, to have that much passion and fight for something. And I think it's okay if you don't. You can still achieve great things and be competitive and potentially even be one of the best. You know what I mean? While also maintaining yourself and your health and your other goals. I kind of looped back around a few times when I was talking about this, but I think the important thing is that it's okay you're not achieving everything right now. It's okay that you could do more, but you're not. Because you will. You will. If you're this worried about it, you will one day achieve this stuff. If you're this stressed, you're not the type of person to give up. You know? And it might feel like you want to give up because you just feel like a complete idiot and a complete failure, that you're not putting all the pieces together like some of your peers might be, or however you want to be. But if you're still, you know, climbing that wall, you might never reach that insane peak that you set for yourself. But you're going to go high. And I think it's just about accepting that maybe, you know, it's not about reaching some insane peak or looking back and being completely fulfilled by every single thing you did. I think it's just about making sure you get up the wall in the first place. And that it's not a miserable experience. And that it's worth it. Because I don't think you have to reach the top for the climb to be worth it. You know? I don't know if that metaphor is like translating very well. I'm hungry. My car's cold. Turn it off so like you wouldn't hear like in the background. But yeah, if I make another video, it's gonna have music. I'm gonna figure out how to do that. And I might be a bit more organized when I talk about this stuff. But I just wanted to yap for a bit. And you know, give some hope to like people like me who are stressed out and just like that feeling of never enough when it comes to such aspirations, is that you are doing enough. It's gonna be okay. Just keep clawing at it. It doesn't have to happen this year. It doesn't have to happen next year. You just gotta keep going. Yeah. Have a good day.